Commander Chen didn't waste time with fear. She leaned forward, studying the aliens' crystalline features for any sign of deception. Years of diplomatic training had taught her to read human expressions, but this was something entirely different. The creature's faceted eyes revealed nothing but cold calculation. "Admiral Koga, we need to assemble the Joint Defense Council immediately," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Earth's military leaders gathered within the hour. Representatives from every major spacefaring nation crowded into the secure chamber beneath Geneva. The atmosphere was tense as Admiral Koga displayed the first detailed scans of the Vexari fleet. 17 ships in the vanguard, Koga explained, highlighting the alien formation. Energy signatures suggest weapons capabilities far beyond our conventional defenses. Their hull composition appears to be some form of crystalline metallic hybrid we've never encountered. The Russian general leaned forward. "How many ships in total?" "Current estimates put their fleet at approximately 300 vessels," Koga replied. "Enough to overwhelm our visible defenses 5 times over." The Chinese admiral's face remained impassive. "Visible defenses, you say?" Admiral Koga allowed himself the smallest hint of a smile. Operation Shadow Shield has remained completely compartmentalized for 15 years. Less than 50 people in this room know of its existence. He entered a complex authorization code, and the central holographic display transformed. Hidden bases throughout the solar system illuminated one by one. Massive shipyards concealed within hollowed-out asteroids, stealth platforms in high polar orbits, submarine carriers in Earth's deepest trenches. Since the Mars colony crisis, we've been preparing for the possibility of first contact going poorly, Koga explained. Our public space force is barely 10% of our actual military capability. Commander Chen studied the faces around her. The shock was evident, even among seasoned military leaders. How was this kept secret? "Compartmentalization," Koga replied. "No single nation built more than a fragment. Only when assembled does the full picture emerge." The Brazilian admiral shook her head in disbelief. "These stealth systems, will they actually work against their sensors?" Dr. Okafor stepped forward, her research team's findings displayed on her tablet. "The Vexari rely on crystalline resonance technology for everything from propulsion to communication. Based on intercepted transmissions, we believe their sensors function on similar principles. Our carbon composite hulls should be effectively invisible to their standard scanning protocols." Admiral Koga nodded toward the countdown display, showing the remaining hours before the aliens' deadline expired. The Vexari believe they're dealing with a primitive, disorganized species on the verge of panic. Their confidence is our greatest advantage. He looked around the room at Earth's unified military command. For the next 72 hours, we give them exactly what they expect to see. Let's show the Vexari a frightened, fractured planet scrambling in disarray. Commander Chen understood immediately. A planet that appears to have no chance against their superior technology. "Precisely," Koga said. "While our real fleet waits in the shadows, deep within the asteroid belt, Captain Tanaka's crew operated in near-perfect silence. The UEA's Phantom's internal systems were dampened to minimal power signatures. Even life support ran at reduced capacity, leaving the air slightly thin and chilly. No one complained. "Status report on the Vexari scout," Tanaka whispered, his breath forming a small cloud in the cold command center. Lieutenant Kazuki adjusted her thermal hood and checked the sensor readout. "Scout vessel maintaining patrol route, sir. Current trajectory will bring it within 2 kilometers of our position in approximately 17 minutes. Tanaka nodded. "And our neighbors?" "The rest of Ghost Squadron is maintaining position. No detection signatures from any vessels." The Phantom and its sister ships represented the pinnacle of human stealth technology. Their hulls absorbed rather than reflected sensor waves. Their engines operated on revolutionary gravitational manipulation principles that left no traditional exhaust signature. Even their internal communication systems used quantum-entangled pairs that couldn't be intercepted or detected. On the primary display, Tanaka watched the Vexeri scout's projected path. The crystalline vessel gleamed like a sapphire against the darkness, oblivious to the 30 human warships silently tracking its every move from concealed positions throughout the asteroid field. They're not even running active countermeasures, his executive officer noted with a hint of surprise. It's like they don't expect any resistance out here at all. 17 conquered systems without meaningful opposition, Tanaka replied quietly. They'd grown accustomed to easy victories. A message flashed across his neural implant, a direct communication from Admiral Koga's command center on Earth. Tanaka blinked twice to acknowledge receipt. New orders, he informed his command staff. We're to maintain complete blackout for the next 40 hours. No communication, no position adjustments, nothing that could potentially alert them to our presence. His weapons officer frowned. Sir, that scout's patrol pattern will bring it dangerously close to the Valkyrie's position in Sector 7. Tanaka studied the tactical display. She was right. One of their sister ships would be at risk of detection if the alien vessel deviated even slightly from its projected course. Captain Yoshida knows the stakes, he replied calmly. The Valkyrie will go dormant if necessary. Remember your training. If detection seems imminent, power down everything except minimal life support and trust your stealth systems. His crew nodded in understanding. They had practiced this scenario countless times, though never with actual alien vessels prowling nearby. 40 hours of playing dead, Lieutenant Kazuki murmured. Then what? Tanaka's eyes remained fixed on the Vexeri scout. Then we show these conquerors something they've never seen before, a prey species that bites back. Throughout the solar system, 217 other stealth vessels received the same orders. For the next 40 hours, humanity's true fleet would remain invisible, watching and waiting while Earth's diplomatic corps continued their masterful performance of disorganization and panic. The stage was being set for the greatest military surprise in human history. Dr. Okafor's laboratory team worked in shifts, analyzing the continuous stream of intercepted Vexeri communications. The underwater facility hummed with activity as linguists, cryptographers, and xenobiologists collaborated to build a comprehensive understanding of their adversary. I need confirmation on these signal patterns, Okafor called out, highlighting a recurring frequency modulation in the alien transmissions. Are we certain this represents tactical data rather than standard communication? Dr. Nasir, her chief signal analyst, nodded emphatically. The pattern density increases by exactly 427% whenever their vessels alter formation. It's definitely tactical coordination. Okafor studied the waveform display, her mind racing through implications. If we can isolate their command frequencies from navigational data, we could potentially feed false tactical information directly into their fleet coordination network, Nasir finished, eyes widening. A junior analyst approached with a tablet displaying new data. Dr. Okafor, we've completed the comparative analysis of Vexeri sensor technology versus our stealth systems. The results confirmed her earlier hypothesis. The aliens' crystalline-based technology operated on fundamentally different principles than Earth's electronic systems. Their sensors emitted complex resonance patterns that detected disruptions caused by other crystalline structures, perfect for identifying similar species, but with significant blind spots to carbon-based materials. Their evolutionary path shaped their technology, Okafor explained during her encrypted briefing to Admiral Koga. The Vexeri evolved on a world dominated by crystal formations. Their bodies, tools, even their thinking is structured around crystalline resonance patterns. On the secure quantum channel, Koga's expression remained thoughtful. And our stealth technology. Functionally invisible to their standard detection methods, she replied confidently. Our carbon composite hulls register as background radiation at most. The Ghost Fleet could literally sail through their formation without triggering alerts, provided we maintain minimal energy signatures. Meanwhile, Earth's visible diplomatic efforts reached new heights of apparent incompetence. During a critical negotiation session, The Chinese representative accidentally broadcast military contingency plans on an unsecured channel. The European Union publicly disagreed with the North American coalition about surrender terms. Religious leaders in multiple countries declared the alien arrival as divine judgment, causing visible public panic. Supreme Commander Zex Terrell watched these developments with growing contempt. His intelligence officers presented hourly reports of human disarray, confirming his species' superiority. Their vessels continued to display erratic movement patterns, reported his tactical officer. Several have experienced navigation failures in the past hour alone. What the Vexeri didn't realize was that each navigation failure positioned Earth's decoy ships precisely where they needed to be for the coming ambush. Each diplomatic blunder concealed a coordinated information-gathering operation. Each religious panic provided cover for civilian evacuations from potential conflict zones. As the deadline approached its final hours, Admiral Koga authorized the deployment of Phase 2 countermeasures. Quantum relays activated throughout the solar system, connecting Earth's hidden fleet through untraceable communication networks. Launch tubes loaded with specialized kinetic projectiles designed to penetrate crystalline structures. Beneath the chaos, humanity prepared to reveal its true nature to the galaxy. On the UES Dauntless, Admiral Koga watched with solemn dignity as the last of Earth's decoy vessels erupted into nuclear fire. The brave crews had known their mission from the beginning, to maintain the illusion until the very end. Each explosion bought precious seconds for the Ghost Fleet to achieve optimal firing positions. All sacrificial vessels have been neutralized, reported his tactical officer, voice tight with emotion. Vexeri forces are advancing on projected vectors toward Earth. Koga nodded once. Signal Ghost Fleet Command. Execute final positioning. Throughout the solar system, stealth vessels made microscopic adjustments to their trajectories. Each ship carried specialized weaponry designed specifically to exploit the weaknesses Dr. Okafor's team had identified in Vexeri technology. The human vessels moved with perfect coordination, their quantum-linked navigation systems allowing for synchronized maneuvers that would have been impossible just a decade earlier. On the primary tactical display, the Vexeri fleet continued their triumphant advance, completely unaware of the invisible web closing around them. Their formation showed textbook conquest patterns, weapon platforms positioned to target major population centers, troop carriers prepared for planetary assault. They're deploying exactly as predicted, Commander Chen observed from her station. Their battle computers are following standard protocols for an uncontested approach. Pride, Koga replied quietly. The greatest vulnerability of any conqueror. He studied the tactical overlay one final time, confirming that every Ghost Fleet vessel had achieved its designated position. 283 stealth warships now surrounded the Vexeri formation, with targeting solutions locked on key command vessels. Koga opened the fleet-wide channel. This is Admiral William Koga to all Ghost Fleet vessels. Humanity has endured countless struggles throughout our history. We have faced extinction from nature, from disease, and from our own worst impulses. Each time, we have emerged stronger. He paused, watching as the Vexeri ships continued their advance, blind to the danger surrounding them. Today, we face an enemy that believes conquest is their birthright. They see us as primitive, disorganized, and helpless. His voice hardened. It is time to correct their misconception. Throughout the solar system, human crews tensed at their stations, weapon systems powered up from dormant states, quantum displacement fields prepared to deactivate on synchronized timing. Ghost Fleet, this is your final order, Koga announced. Operation Phantom Dawn is now active. Reveal yourselves. Across vast distances, human vessels executed the command simultaneously. Stealth fields deactivated in perfect synchronization. Weapon systems locked onto targets. Communication arrays broadcast on all frequencies, ensuring the Vexeri would witness their emergence on every sensor channel. On the Vexeri command vessel, Supreme Commander Zex Terrell staggered back from the tactical display as it suddenly blazed with hundreds of new contacts materialized in perfect attack formation, some appearing impossibly close, within his own defensive perimeter. For the first time in recorded Vexeri history, a fleet commander experienced true strategic surprise. Captain Raman's destroyer squadron executed another impossible maneuver, their vessels moving with ballet-like precision through the chaotic battlefield. Plasma lances from 3 Vexeri cruisers converged on her position and found nothing but empty space. "Microgravity assist complete," announced her navigator. Voice steady, despite the crushing forces their inertial dampeners couldn't fully compensate for. 5 seconds until firing solution. Raman watched the tactical display as her 8 destroyers reformed into attack formation. The Vexeri vessels attempted to track their movement, but the alien targeting algorithms couldn't predict the seemingly random gravitational slingshots her ships utilized. "Mass drivers locked," reported her weapons officer. "All vessels show ready status." Fire. 8 mass drivers discharged simultaneously. 16 tungsten rods, each weighing 12 tons and moving at 0.15 c, streaked across space. The kinetic energy contained in each projectile exceeded that of a small nuclear weapon, but delivered with surgical precision. The targeted Vexeri battleship detected the incoming attack too late. Its shields, optimized to disperse energy weapons, might as well have been tissue paper against solid matter moving at relativistic speeds. The projectiles punched through external armor, internal bulkheads, and critical systems before exiting the other side, leaving perfect cylindrical holes through the crystalline vessel. Secondary explosions rippled through the alien ship as atmosphere vented and power systems failed. The beautiful crystal structure that had seemed so imposing now shattered into thousands of glittering fragments. On the command bridge of the UES Shiva, Raman allowed herself no celebration. "Target the heavy cruiser at bearing 047. Prepare for evasive pattern delta." Across the battlefield, other human squadrons employed equally devastating tactics. Captain Nguyen's missile frigates launched quantum-guided projectiles that tracked Vexeri energy signatures. Commander Jackson's electronic warfare vessels broadcast jamming signals specifically tuned to disrupt crystalline communication networks. In the Vexeri command ship, Supreme Commander Zex Terrell struggled to comprehend what was happening. His tactical officers reported simultaneous attacks across his entire formation. Vessels that had conquered multiple star systems now found themselves outmaneuvered by a supposedly primitive species. "They're using physical projectiles," his weapons analyst reported incredulously. Such technology was abandoned by advanced civilizations millennia ago. "Evidently not by this one," Zex Terrell replied grimly. "Adapt shield harmonics. Deploy point defense arrays. These humans cannot possibly maintain this level of coordination." But each time the Vexeri adjusted their tactics, human vessels responded with entirely different approaches. When crystalline shields reconfigured to better deflect kinetic weapons, Earth forces switched to electromagnetic pulse arrays. When Vexeri vessels scattered to avoid mass formation attacks, humans deployed autonomous hunter-killer drones that tracked individual ships. It wasn't just the weapons that confounded the aliens, it was humanity's tactical flexibility. The Vexeri fought according to battle doctrines refined over thousands of years of successful conquests. Humans fought with the desperate creativity of a species that had spent its entire history trying to survive against overwhelming odds. Supreme Commander Zex Terrell watched another dreadnought disintegrate under human attack. For the first time in his long military career, he considered a possibility that had never before entered his consciousness: defeat. Dr. Okafor's underwater command center vibrated with activity as new Vexeri countermeasures emerge. Her team of xenotechnologists worked frantically to analyze and respond to each alien adaptation. "They're deploying some kind of crystalline psychic amplifiers," reported Dr. Vassan, her neural systems specialist. On the main display, strange geometric formations appeared at the edges of the Vexeri fleet. Energy patterns suggest direct mental interface technology. Okafor nodded grimly. "Just as we predicted. Alert all fleet commanders to activate psionic shields." The upgraded defensive systems had been distributed to human vessels only days before the conflict began, a technological breakthrough developed after studying fragments of Vexari communication technology recovered from their initial probes. The shields couldn't fully block the alien mental attacks, but they could reduce their effectiveness to manageable levels. The nanite clouds are adapting to our electronic countermeasures, another analyst called out. They're showing evolutionary algorithms we haven't seen before. Okafor moved to that station, studying the microscopic swarms that now targeted human vessels with increasing precision. The tiny machines attempted to infiltrate ship systems through communication arrays and external sensors. "Switch to Protocol 7, she ordered. "Deploy the electromagnetic pulse mines along predicted nanite approach vectors." Throughout the battlefield, small, inconspicuous devices activated on her command. Each released a carefully calibrated electromagnetic pulse that fried the delicate nanite machinery while leaving human systems protected by hardened circuitry. Another advantage of Earth's primitive technology compared to the Vexari's more advanced but vulnerable systems. The quantum processors surrounding Okafor continued analyzing Vexari battle patterns. With each engagement, the aliens' responses became more predictable as the AI systems identified underlying patterns in their tactical algorithms. "They're still thinking linearly," Okafor observed, watching the predictive models complete. "Their battle computers consider one problem and one solution at a time, in sequence." She opened a direct channel to Admiral Koga. "Admiral, we've identified critical weaknesses in their response patterns. They consistently prioritize threats in descending order of perceived technological sophistication." Koga's voice came through clearly despite the ongoing electronic warfare. Meaning they'll always target our most advanced weapons first, ignoring simpler threats they consider beneath notice. Okafor smiled as the implications became clear. "We can use this against them." New orders flashed throughout the human fleet. Advanced vessels showcased their most sophisticated technologies, drawing Vexari attention and firepower. Meanwhile, seemingly obsolete craft carried devastating but technologically simple weapons directly into the aliens' blind spots. Captain Tanaka's squadron demonstrated this strategy perfectly. When nanite swarms disabled their quantum communication network, his vessels immediately switched to simple light-based Morse code signals. The Vexari, scanning for subspace transmissions and quantum entanglement patterns, completely missed the primitive communication method coordinating a devastating human counterattack. As the battle entered its sixth hour, the Vexari deployed increasingly exotic weapons: gravimetric disruptors, temporal phase shifters, dimensional fracture generators. Yet with each escalation, humanity responded not with matching technology, but with unexpectedly effective countermeasures that exploited fundamental weaknesses in the aliens' approach to warfare. Commander Chen studied the holographic projection of the Vexari flagship. Her stealth infiltration team had spent weeks training for this mission using simulations created from intercepted data. Now, as they prepared to board an actual alien vessel, the stakes couldn't be higher. Crystalline hull composition will interfere with standard scanning. She briefed her team of 12 specialists, each wearing next-generation adaptive camouflage suits. "We'll be operating primarily on memorized layouts with limited sensor support." Lieutenant Park, her security lead, checked his non-metallic composite weapons. "Rules of engagement, Commander. This is an intelligence-gathering operation, not an assault," Chen replied firmly. "We avoid detection at all costs. Non-lethal response only if confronted. Our objective is the central data core. Nothing else." Their stealth shuttle approached the massive Vexari command ship under the cover of an ongoing battle nearby. The aliens had diverted most of their defensive systems to counter Captain Raman's destroyer squadron, creating a brief window of opportunity in their sensor coverage. The boarding itself went flawlessly. Human stealth technology, combined with Dr. Okafor's insights into Vexari sensor limitations, allowed Chen's team to attach to an external maintenance hatch undetected. The alien crew, already struggling with the unprecedented stress of actual military resistance, never noticed the infiltrators moving through secondary corridors. Chen led her team through crystalline passageways that hummed with strange energies. The alien architecture was both beautiful and unsettling. Geometric patterns that seemed to repeat into infinity, surfaces that responded to the presence of Vexari crew members but remained inert as humans passed. "Central data processing chamber ahead," whispered her systems specialist, consulting the holomap projected on his tactical visor, detecting 3 life signs inside. Chen signaled her team to hold position while she assessed the situation. Through the translucent crystalline wall, she could see Vexari technicians interfacing directly with data systems, their appendages physically connecting to the ship's computational matrix. "Deploy neural disruptors," she ordered quietly. Small devices placed against the chamber walls emitted precisely calibrated frequencies that induced temporary unconsciousness in crystalline neural systems. The Vexari technicians disconnected from their stations and collapsed without raising alarms. Chen's team moved swiftly. Their xenotechnology specialist connected human interface equipment to the alien systems, bypassing incompatible connection points with adaptive hardware Dr. Okafor's team had developed. "Initiating data extraction," the specialist reported. "Encryption is complex, but following predicted patterns." Chen watched the progress indicator as terabytes of Vexari tactical data transferred to their secure storage devices. Most valuable were the detailed schematics of the Imperium's homeworld defenses, information that would completely transform the strategic equation. "Extraction complete," the specialist announced after several tense minutes. "We have everything: fleet deployments, defense grids, even their remaining military reserves." Chen allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before refocusing. "Withdraw along planned escape route. Our mission is complete." As her team retreated through the alien vessel, Shen reflected on what they'd discovered. The mighty Vexari Imperium, terror of 17 star systems, had committed nearly 70% of its total military strength to the Earth invasion, a desperate gamble by a civilization facing unexpected resource limitations and internal pressures. Admiral Kogo watched the Vexari delegation depart with mixed emotions. The treaty negotiations had produced an outcome no human strategist had predicted before the conflict began. Not mere survival, not just peace, but recognition as equals from a species that had never before encountered worthy adversaries. "Do you think they'll honor it?" Commander Chen asked, joining him at the observation window as the alien shuttle returned to their remaining vessels. "They will," Kogu replied confidently. "Not just because of our military capability, but because we've fundamentally changed how they perceive the universe." Dr. Okafor approached, carrying a data tablet with the final analysis of Vexari psychology. Their entire civilization is built around the concept of natural hierarchy. For thousands of years, they've encountered only species they could easily dominate or that posed no threat. We forced them to create an entirely new category in their understanding of galactic life. The 3 leaders watched as the Vexari command ship prepared to depart Earth orbit. The once magnificent vessel now bore the scars of battle, crystalline hull sections repaired with visible patchwork, weapon emplacements destroyed and sealed over. Yet it retained a strange beauty, like a cathedral built by alien minds. "Operation Open Hand is proceeding as planned," Chen reported. "Our technical teams are sharing the agreed-upon technologies with their engineers. The knowledge exchange protocols are working smoothly." Koga nodded thoughtfully. "And how are they responding to our approach?" "With confusion, primarily," Okafor admitted. "Their social structures have no precedent for treating former adversaries as partners. The concept of alliance rather than subjugation after conflict is entirely foreign to them." The Admiral turned from the window to face his colleagues. "That may be our most important contribution to galactic civilization. Not our weapons or our tactics, but our understanding that strength can be demonstrated through generosity as much as through force." On the command bridge of the departing Vexari vessel, Supreme Commander Zex Terrell studied the information packet humans had freely provided, detailed specifications for technologies that had defeated his mighty fleet. His advisors remained deeply suspicious of human motivations. They could have demanded our surrender, one senior officer noted. With the intelligence they gathered about our homeworld defenses, they could potentially threaten the Imperium itself. Why offer friendship instead? Zex Terrell had pondered this question since the shocking moment when Admiral Koga had first proposed the treaty terms. The answer had slowly crystallized in his understanding, representing a concept his species had never needed to develop. Because, he explained to his confused officers, their evolutionary path taught them something ours did not, that the strongest position is not holding power over others, but creating power together. As Earth receded in his vessel's sensors, Zex Terrell contemplated the report he would deliver to the Imperium Council. How could he explain that the most shocking discovery about humanity wasn't their weapons or their tactics, but their capacity to transform enemies into allies?